one of the things that you've done and continue to do is to write screenplays, and with your brother.
Yeah. Yes.
You had
Christian.
a film that came out, I think, a year and a half ago, Lady of the Manor, and of course you wrote A Case of You a few years ago, also with your brother. Tell me a little bit about that process, because that's that must be. It's a completely different part of your brain that you're working with. Like,
Well, I had been. It's funny you say that, because I had been using. I felt like I think the impetus to do it was because I had been using that part of my brain on a lot of the jobs on Die Hard, jobs like Accepted or Die Hard. There was so much.
How would you do it?
It went beyond. Well, we would rewrite a lot of that stuff. Like, for example, in Accepted, that last speech hadn't been written until the day we got to set, and Tom Shadyac and I and the writers, we kind of sat down and I just started writing stuff in that speech, because it was important that there's a speech at the end of the movie where it could sound, the script felt a little like bombastic or like self-righteous, or there was a little bit of it sounded like a movie. I mean, it was a movie moment, but it just didn't. It wasn't living in my mouth. That I just wanted it to be a little bit more natural. I wanted to connect to it. I wasn't connecting to it. I guess that's the best way of saying it. And so we wrote that. And I started writing things on Die Hard because and Herbie, because the studio, they would come and say, they would encourage it. The studio reps, and the way they write those Die Hard movies is really just like, or at least it was, the thing they're most concerned about is obviously the stunts, and so they come up with the stunts, and then they kind of like fill in the rest. They fill in all the parts to get to the stunts, and so I got the sense that like there was a lot of freedom on these jobs to write, and Christian and I like have a very similar sense of humor, and so we thought, well, let's just write our own thing, and that was a journey. That was like a 10-year journey. We'd write pilots. Occasionally we'd sell them. We never got to make them. Then we started writing our own. We wrote a web series that we were really proud of called The Real Stephen Blatt.
Yep.
And it was about a kid who gets his a cell phone and just becomes totally corrupted by it, and that was such an enjoyable experience. And we got such good feedback, and Funny or Die, Amazon ended up putting it on their platform, and Ben Stiller called us in from a meeting, wanted to do a script of ours. So it led, we were encouraged. We were, it gave us a lot of encouragement and enough so that we felt like we could try to write and direct a feature. And I love ghost tours. I love going to a southern, like an antebellum city and going on one of those ghost tours. And so we had this idea then for a ghost on this tour to haunt the tour guide, basically, to haunt the woman who's playing her in a sense. And really we just wanted to make a buddy comedy because we grew up loving Frank Oz movies and John Hughes, Planes, Trains and Automobiles, and Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. Those were What About Bob? Those were our favorite types of movies, and so we kind of made a ghost movie that as a buddy comedy.
If you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire episode, click right here.